This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys. All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual who competes at BKFC 50, and that goes down on September 22nd. We've got Steve Herelius knuckling up and towing the line against Josh Copeland, and great getting to have Josh back on the show. How's everything going, man? You having a solid day?
Yes. Yeah, everything's going great. Just blessed.
Yeah, and I mean, great that this bout could still come to fruition eventually, just with that, initially being targeted for, BKFC 41 there a bit earlier in the year. Like, when did you initially hear about this rebooking? Like, when did this, realigned bout offer come your way for this one?
I got a call from my manager that Bare Knuckle was coming back to Denver, and he said that they wanted me on the card, and we didn't have an opponent for, I don't know, I'd say 3-4 weeks, and then probably 6-7 weeks ago they told me Steve again, so, and here we go.
Yeah, and were you at a point preparing for that where I guess you had a certain level of familiarity or game plan curated that can be applied to this fight here, or did you not really get that ramped up and deep into that camp and the prep and everything?
No, we were definitely training for him for sure, and it was just crazy when I got the call for the opportunity to fight Ben. It was. They asked me how much I was weighing. I stepped on the scale. I was 255, and they told me, hey, if you want this fight to happen, you got to get up to 270. So that's the first time I've ever had a fight where I actually had to gain weight to get to a point. So had 3 weeks to put on 15 pounds, but we made that work, and I'm definitely more excited to fight at my regular weight for this one now.
Yeah, and you did actually mention that to me when we were talking last time, because we did speak ahead of the Rothwell fight. Like, how much did that meaningfully, change things, not just in your camp, but, not trying to, make an excuse or anything, but did it feel, just in the sense of it being different, did it feel a great deal different having to put on weight for a fight as compared to what you would normally do, I guess?
Oh, definitely different, and 100% no excuses whatsoever. That's when you get opportunities like that, you just gotta do what you need to do to seize the day. Make sure it happens. But I'm definitely I like to be light on my feet. I like to move, and I know just in all the years that I have been fighting, I can tell a huge difference from when I'm 260 versus 245 or all that. So I definitely feel a lot better when I'm in the 240s.
Yeah, and for sure. A lot to talk about with this next fight, but I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on that aforementioned Rothwell fight, just because it was such a classic. Just what a heater of a fight. Both of you guys, great accounts for yourself and great exchanges throughout. What were your main takeaways from that one there? Because it seemed to be a great performance. I think Rothwell even was like, God, man, what's in this guy's chin? It's like a top 3 chin of all time. And he's fought for so long, right? So can you just give the main takeaways from that one, I guess?
Yeah, I know for myself, Ben's a stud. And I went into that fight with a lot of confidence just because I train with a lot of top elite athletes. From Curtis Blades, Alistair Overeem, and I know that I can compete at that level. And I was just opportunities, man. I something like that I'll never pass up and go into it. And you're always learning. You're always growing through through all that stuff. So that was such a great time, great opportunity for me to go out and see if it was my night, so no regrets whatsoever.
Yeah, and it seems like a level of respect comes out of that and some camaraderie. Just like, I did talk to Ben after that fight, and just the way he was talking about you, just very, almost like reverential. Like, he's just like, I've been fighting for a while. Sometimes I'll hit people, and it's like, oh, really? They dropped from that? But he'd be talking about hitting you with, like, the cleanest, like, most consummate shot he could get, and you're just like, not even blinking almost. So, I mean, does that impart a level of camaraderie, like being in a fight like that with someone like that?
It does, absolutely. And that's, it's funny how you go in there, and it's true, like, most people don't understand how you can fight somebody and then afterwards go give them a hug or be friendly with them. And but the majority of people think back when they were in 6th grade and got in the fight and how scared they were and never want to do that again. And then they see us go out there and just slug each other repeatedly and not understand how we as athletes can be friendly or cordial afterwards. And for me, I've made some really good friends after fights, just spending that time in the ring with those guys. So I know with Ben, it was good getting to know him a little bit afterwards, and I was definitely thankful for just the kind words that he had to say about me. And I know anytime in the future he wants to train or come down with us, he's always welcome here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just such a great throwdown. But you mentioned some quality names you've been able to work with over the years, and I mean even recently as well, like guys like Curtis Blades and Alistair Overeem and whatnot. And it just seems like such like a great variable too to be like getting in that like Denver centric work and just the familiarity with like the higher altitude. So can you kind of talk about how just this last camp has gone, like maybe some people you've worked with and things of that persuasion, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, hey, the camp's coming along really well. I know I started off, my hands were a little ginger after that Rothwell fight, but they've been healing up just fine. And earlier this summer, I wound up getting a partial tear in my hamstring from playing tag with my 10-year-old. So it's funny how I've never tore a hamstring before, and just going out there and being dad and enjoying my time with him and my little guy, and wound up partially tearing it and whatnot. So I know I was a little worried at first, but I've been very thankful. Went down to LA to see my regenerative doctor, Dr. George Chang Xian, and he put some good PRP and stem cells in my hamstring, and I haven't had a problem with it since. I've been able to get all my runs in, all my training, and I'm very thankful I am where I am right now. So,
and I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm making a little too much out of this, but I'm wondering how much of a variable your mindset is, because like you're talking about like, tearing a hamstring, like it's like not an inconsequential injury obviously, but it seems like you're kind of having a laugh like, oh, I was playing with my kid and this ended up happening. Like how much of that, I guess, do you apply to your fighting? Like I would think that would be a good variable, just like maintaining the composure and not getting like overly agitated or overly in a certain negative space about it. Like is that a variable that works to your benefit, you think? Or
it is for sure, and I know for me it all comes with the experience, and I'm thankful that I mean, I've been training since 2005 and fighting since 2010. So with all of my fights and different injuries that I've had, it's always been like, I'll just say I'm thankful that I am a veteran. I'm thankful that I knew what had happened and ran it through doctors and people that I trust. And I knew I would be good. I just had to be smart at first and Yeah, I'm healthy now and definitely ready to go.
And we were talking about kind of the game planning before. I'm curious how, without revealing too much of the methodology, like how you're going about the game plan, just in the sense of, it's been a little bit since he's gotten out there. Like, he did have a BKFC fight, but it was a little bit ago at this point, like around like a bit over 2 years ago at this point. Is the preparation more centric on like what you're doing and being adaptable more so, or are you maybe gleaning something from that BKFC 18 fight that he had?
No, I mean, honestly, the game plan's usually always the same. I'm a smart, intelligent fighter, and I've been in there with a lot of different guys, trained with so many different guys, and I know we're all unique. Steve's a good fighter, good fast hands, everything. So, to me, it's also something I haven't not seen before, and but I am confident in my skills and abilities to be able to adapt, and as I'm in there moving around, so I think it'll be good.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you very much seem like a guy that's inclined to test yourself against the best. Like, that was kind of what I got from how you were talking about taking the Ben fight, and I would think that would apply to this fight here, just being that your opponent is a former WBA interim cruiserweight champion in gloved boxing, and like I said, does have that 1-0 BKFC record, so it would seem like a quality opponent to, test your skills against.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, do you see like a defined, because I know some fighters will like do a lot of like visualization and things like that, and kind of within that, I guess they'll have like a, reoccurring idea of like how the fight could end. Like, do you have a particular idea of how this one could wrap up, or are you not much of a, visualization, like get hyper fixated on certain outcomes kind of fighter?
Right. No, that's really not me. I mean, same thing. I've been doing this long enough. I know sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And for me, it's the only way I lose is if I don't go out and do my best. So at the end of the day, both Steve and I are performers, and we want to put on a good show. And as long as we go out there and we do that and have some good fun, ooh and ah reactions from the fans, I think it's it's definitely a win for all of us.
Yeah, I would agree, and definitely a tremendously exciting fight rather, in a vacuum, but just seems like an interesting time in the division overall, just with like the title being vacant right now, and you've got guys like, Arnold Adams and the aforementioned Rothwell in the mix, but also checking out the rankings here, seeing Mick Terrell kind of got in there in the last rankings update. Like, what are your thoughts on like the broader state of the division? Like, obviously you're very focused on this particular opponent, but it does seem like a very interesting, like almost like state of flux, or like a time of change in the heavyweight class.
Yeah, hey, it's cool they're coming out with rankings. And being completely honest, I don't follow very much. My girlfriend actually told me last night that, it's I saw the BKFC rankings and whatnot, and I didn't even know that they did that. And what we were looking at from August, I wasn't even on the rankings. So, hey, and to me, I know myself. I know what I can do, and I don't have to. I'd always rather be the sleeper. People think rankings matter much, but at the end of the day, I don't care if they're number one or number 100 on the list. We got a job to do, and we got to go out and get the W.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it is arbitrary at the end of the day. Like, I think people understand that you're a world-class heavyweight. It's like whether it's a matter of 6 or 8 or whatever the number might be, it's very arbitrary. It's just you're a skilled guy at the end of the day.
Yeah. Have you seen where I'm ranked?
Well, the way they do it for BKFC specifically is they usually cut it off at 5, but I find BoxRec has a more comprehensive rundown. Like, I feel like you'd probably be pretty comfortably within the top 10 there, but I admittedly am not sure what the current BoxRec heavyweight bare knuckle rankings are.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, just wanted to bring that up more so because it just seems like an interesting time. Like you talk about the kind of fight this could be in terms of exciting, and I mean, if you get your ideal outcome, I mean, could definitely pay dividends as far as like being in that queue for whoever could end up, being in that like heavyweight title picture and, getting a champ cemented and all.
Right. And yeah, I mean, the rankings are always they're going to fluctuate, especially with so little fights that have really happened for all of us in BKFC. So I know that once we start getting 10, 15 fights underneath our belt, then the rankings will be a lot more accurate.
Yeah, I mean, wholeheartedly agree with you. Definitely more empirical evidence and just data to go off of. But you've been really great with your time, Josh. It's fun getting to, talk to you and get these insights ahead of these different fights. But I also do want to be mindful of your schedule today as well. So is there maybe like a final parting thought you'd like to add as we're kind of wrapping up, man?
No, I'm thankful and grateful for all my fans that are out there and everyone who's going to tune in, and I'll go out there, put on a good show, do the best that I can, and thank you for your support. God bless, and it'll be fun.
We always put on banger fights, and I think this Steve Herelius fight very much, jumps off the page. I feel like this is one of those fights you got to have your drinks and snacks all situated and everything there when that goes down on September 22nd. But yeah, no, to reiterate, I appreciate you coming on ahead of BKFC 50, man, and definitely looking forward to this next fight. But until then, you have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you.
Dylan, thank you. You too, okay?
This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys. All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual who is set to compete at BKFC 50 and in a very prominent fight. It is a co-main event heavyweight bout going down on September 22nd when Josh Copeland knuckles up and toes the line against Steve Herelius. And great getting to have Steve on the show for the first time. How's your day going, man? You having a good, solid day so far?
Sorry. If I have what? Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Just wondering if you're having a good day so far.
Oh, no, my day is always good. My days were always good. If it's not good, I make it for it's good. For it became good. I'm good. Then good. I'm very good.
No, it's a good way to look, man. It seems like you've got a positive outlook on things. So in saying that, I would think you would, be kind of excited to get back to the bare knuckle fold, just being that it's been almost 2.5 years since you last competed. So are you pretty excited to return to bare knuckle?
Very, very excited. Like I said, I'm excited like a kid when the kid's waiting for the Christmas. I'm the same. Today I'm the same. I'm very happy. Very, very happy, excited.
And this was a fight that was discussed even a bit earlier in the year, towards the end of April. The Copeland fight ended up getting shifted towards him fighting Ben Rothwell. Like, are you happy that this fight ultimately did eventually happen? Like, was this a matchup that you found compelling even when it was initially set up in April?
No, I'm a little bit sad, but the problem happened, what's happened, and today I'm here. Now, what's happened? What happened last week or yesterday is yesterday. Today is today, so I'm focused for today. I don't care what's happened last week or yesterday. It's not the problem. I'm ready today, so yeah, today I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, well said, and I guess just in kind of looking at the present and more like the future as well, it seems like a great time to, be returning to BKFC after a bit, because the heavyweight division has seemingly grown a fair bit. I mean, there were some good heavyweights back then, obviously, but definitely a division they've, put a lot into. Like I mentioned, Ben Rothwell, but also a lot of talented guys in there, like, Arnold Adams and Dylan Kleckler, etc. Like, do you feel like there's like a really exciting, crop of heavyweight fighters for you to compete against? I mean, obviously you're focused on this fight, but it seems like the division is very healthy.
No, now the division became more interesting because we have not a lot, but I will say a big baby, because now I saw the last fight, there's a big guy, tall guy. This is what I like. It's been very interesting, very exciting to see these people. So now I can see, and I noticed that there's a lot big, the real heavyweight. Me, I will say I'm not a real heavyweight. I'm heavyweight, but not too much the real. But now what I see is a real heavyweight, and this is very, very exciting. I'm very excited. I'm sorry for my English. I'm very excited to see that.
Oh, no need to be sorry at all, man. I definitely get where you're coming from. I guess I'm, curious to, get your thoughts on that last fight Copeland had, because we did mention it a little bit. And, I mean, it seemed like he really, showed a great, account of himself in that fight. I mean, he did eventually lose to Ben Rothwell, but I think really had a spirited performance. Did you check out that fight? And if so, what were your thoughts on that?
No, I never check. This is for my coach. My coach check me. I don't coach nothing. I don't check nothing. I just go to fight and that's it. I don't want to make pressure on myself, so I don't check nothing. I'm just put me ready for fighting. That's it.
You're more like focused on your own game plan and adapting to, whatever goes on. You're not like hyper focused on what he does, because then maybe you don't think about what you're looking to do as much.
No. You know what? I work in by my feeling. So my feeling will tell me what to go, what I have to do. I don't have plan, I don't have nothing. I'm just working by my feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just curious to get some thoughts on this, because I did mention that your, first bare knuckle bout against Juan Torres took place in June 2021, and getting that victory at BKFC 18. I'm curious, I feel like you would have learned so much in terms of how you approach the sport of bare knuckle and prepare for it. What would you say the biggest differences are in your bare knuckle game, from that first fight at BKFC 18 as compared to what you're going to be bringing to the table now as a BKFC fighter in this next one?
I will say I should to be more smart and don't play the game of my opponent. But now I know better what I have to do and how I have to do. So I was too much excited because it was my first fight in bare knuckle. So I was very excited. So I did a little bit too much thing, but without thinking. But now I'm more relaxed and I go to thinking. So it should to be better. It should, of course. It should to be better. I will take my time and relax.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. I mean, stepping into something new for the first time might be, in a more heightened kind of state in that regard. So it seems like your composure is going to be a big difference maker in your second BKFC fight.
Big difference. The people that are going to fight, all their UFC fighter. So their fight like a UFC fighter. So there's all the same style. If you see clearly the fight of the UFC fighter, all have the same style. So now I will see what's going to happen. But I'm ready for all the styles, so there is any problem for that.
So is that something you see in your opponent, Josh Copeland, coming up here, because he did have that MMA specific background before getting into bare knuckle?
About who, John? Which one? What you said?
Oh, sorry, I was just saying your opponent, Josh Copeland, is someone who had that MMA background before coming in, like, does he fit that, same approach that you were kind of talking about before with MMA fighters coming to bare knuckle? Like, does he fit within that, I guess?
Yeah. He's an MMA, UFC fighter, was a former UFC fighter. So, for me, they go to approach like all the fighter, all the UFC fighter. I guess, I think, if he has another approach, I will be ready. I'm ready for everything. I'm waiting for everything. I don't want to get surprised. I'm ready for everything.
Yeah, and this might be a simple way to break it down, but sometimes when I talk to fighters where, someone comes from that MMA background, like, it would seem like on paper Copeland would be looking to get more of that active clinch and infighting going on. And, I mean, someone like yourself who is a decorated gloved boxer before coming into this, like, maybe someone on paper would think that it's to your advantage to fight more at range and kind of keep it there. Is that how this fight breaks down in a simplistic kind of way, almost?
Oh, yeah, I'm waiting for the clinch. More clinch, because UFC fighters is very strong for the clinch. So, for sure, these people love clinch, and they go to have clinch, and that's it. I work my clinch. I'm not the best, but I'm good on what I'm doing. I'm good on what I'm doing. I will see what's going to happen. I think the clinch, yes. I'm sure I go to clinch. They love that. They don't want to fight. For me, clinch is not a fight. If you want to fight. No clinch. Yeah, but happen what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of, get what you're saying and, talking about that there, and just, someone who does have that decorated gloved background that I was talking about, having held that WA interim cruiserweight title. And you mentioned, like, more clinch work in your bare knuckle camps. Is there anything else you do that's different from maybe a gloved boxing camp? Because I talked to some fighters who will almost use, like, specific hand strengthening techniques, like gripping sand or working with the wooden Muay Thai boards, but some other fighters are kind of like, I don't do any of that. I've been fighting for years. My hands are plenty strong. Like, do you do anything with, like, the hand strengthening for bare knuckle, or not so much? You got the strong hands from years of fighting anyway?
Look, I'm working for everything. I'm working for everything. How I can say that in English is all my weakness. I'm working on it. So the boxing. I don't go to working boxing because boxing is my life. I know to boxing. This I'm not interested about the boxing. So I'm more interested about the clinch, about how they punch when they clinch. I'm working on all my default. That's it. Yeah. I'm working on everything where I'm not good. This is where I'm working very, very hard. Boxing, I don't work. I don't need to work in boxing. I'm not interested in boxing now. I'm working on the clinch and punch at the same time, and this is what is very, very important.
Yeah, well, it seems like you're very excited about some of the new stuff you're doing, so yeah, I'd love to hear that for sure. And I saw a post that you had, this was closer to when you made the initial debut in bare knuckle boxing, but you were talking about how you were looking to take the belt and become the champion and looking to become that first boxing and bare knuckle champion. Like, obviously not overlooking this fight, but do you have a particular, like, timeline in your head for when you would ideally become BKFC champion? Like, you seem like very passionate about this sport and goal oriented, so curious if you have a timeline for, I guess, when you could see yourself contending for that heavyweight title in BKFC.
So, look, I stayed on the bench during 2 years after my fight against Torres. After that, I didn't fight 2 years. So 2 years, I didn't fight. I just training. And of course, I want to be world champion like everyone. Everybody going to BKFC is because they want to be world champion. You see, what I want is my goal. to be world champion, and then if I can to open a team to train people in bare knuckle, and after that for the end became champion too. This is what I want. This is my plan. Is became coach, and I hope working with BKFC and working only for the best people. Working, and these people became champion. All my boxers became champion. This is what I want, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do. But first, I'm going to be champion first. Then I'm going to think of that.
Yeah, well said. I mean, for sure. Like, I feel like you'd probably have to string together a couple, but I mean, the resume is definitely there, and the skill as a fighter, and kind of like what I was saying before, it just seems like an interesting kind of time in the division, just with Alan Belcher having vacated the title, and now he's, you know, with like Game Bread doing bare knuckle MMA more so. Like, it seems like the division is, you know, kind of wide open. So just, yeah, an interesting time in that category, but good you're kind of looking at it through the lens of like, oh, I'm returning after a little bit, maybe you have to string together a couple, but cool to hear that you also want to be a trainer for both sports once you're done with everything too. That's neat.
For sure. This is my wish. Oh, for sure. This is my wish. I hope. And I will do everything I will do. It's not only me. I hope David Feldman and Nate go to give it a fight. And that's going to push me and show me the way. But I want to be this. And every time when I said something, I do what I said, and I said what I do. So I always said I want to be bare knuckle. If I put my foot on the BKFC, it's for became world champion. And now look, 2 years I didn't fight, and I'm still here. I don't know. Maybe they thought that I will give up. No, I don't give up. Never give up. I never. You have to kill me for give up. So I'm here, and I will do what I want to do.
Yeah, very exciting times, and I really enjoyed your debut and was very excited to, you know, see that you were coming back and fighting someone, you know, the skill of Josh Copeland. But you've been really good with your time, Steve, and I want to be mindful of your schedule for the rest of the day. So I guess just in saying all that, I'm curious if maybe you have like a final parting thought you'd want to add as we're kind of wrapping things up here, man.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure, and it's still my pleasure. So there is no problem. I will be there, and I will be happy to talk to you again and again, every day if you want. There's no problem. I'm here. Just call me and I'll answer you. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, it comes across, man, and I definitely had a lot of fun talking to you. So hopefully this is the first of, you know, many appearances on the show. But, you know, until then, very much looking forward to BKFC 50 and seeing this Copeland fight on September 22nd. So to reiterate, thanks so much for coming on the show and giving great insights, man. You have a good rest of your day, and looking forward to checking out the fight when it goes down as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks, and you too have a good day. Thank you. And be ready for the fight. Be ready.